So like a lot of people are not ready there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, I'm excited.
Good.
I'm ready to go. On my back.
Souvenirs.
Okay, photo. We like that, right? Okay.
I gotta go to Charlotte. No, I do not.
I gotta go to Charlotte too. So
Babe, what time?
I'm taking whichever. I think that's something one.
Yo no sé. Tú no sabes. No, yo no sé.
Right, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah, we said I'm going to eat it up and get on. Yeah, take a picture. Jody, you okay?
Yes, thank you.
So which one of these things I'm taking with me? Just kidding.
Honestly, whatever. You can tell me which one.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, that's for me to have to. To it.
I was in the boat. I saw him. Yeah, you're in the
I mean, it doesn't mean, is he?
Oops, sorry. This is Barbara. She's the Consul General for Guyana. This is Garland Smith. He's our resident photographer.
Good afternoon.
So she wants some really good pictures as you always take.
Business card. I'll forward it to you.
Thank you.
I'm just.
Yes,
Just me on that side. Don't blame me. What's my fault?
No, it's a little.
We have to showcase the business, so we must get the backdrop.
Listen, if you miss the corner,
You want me to bring all of them now, or you?
if you get training, you gotta go to one day. Yeah,
The next one.
Got it, the next one. Okay.
All right, no problem.
Open up one.
And they said we want to do something special for Guyana. We have a lot of Guyana employees. We have a lot of people in the neighborhood. And Vanita over here, who's standing here with the purple dress, she kind of took the lead and got the Caribbean Resource Group moving to put this whole presentation together. So we'd like to thank our employees for doing this and for putting this together. Why did we want to do something like this? Guyana is a new destination for us here at JFK. We've never served it before. And we wanted to do this for our employees so they're aware of the culture, the food, the recreation activities, and most importantly, the people of Guyana, so that when we do start the service on the 18th, we'll be able to interact with their customers, know their wants, their wishes, and make their experience on American Airlines very, very special. So without further ado, to introduce Claire, she's with the Guyanese Cultural Association, and she's responsible for the dancers. And she's going to speak to you about the dancers, and we'll get started. We do have a program, it lasts about an hour, and then you'll be free to enjoy all the activities that we have here. So welcome again to Terminal 8 American Airlines, and we're really excited on behalf of all of the over 10,000 employees in the New York City area to welcome our guests here today, and we're very excited about our new service on December 18th from Kennedy to Georgetown. So Claire.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. This is Guyana. The Guyana Cultural Association of New York is pleased to partner with the Caribbean Resource Group at American Airlines to help highlight some of the rich culture of Guyana. The video does have scenes from our interior rivers and waterfalls. And let me tell you a little bit about the Amerindians. The Amerindians were the indigenous people of Guyana. They gave us the name Guyana, which means land of many waters. Some impression of the awe they must have felt as they discovered this rich dissected land. And we get a glimpse of the reverence they felt for the rivers, which for them were an important source of food, a major communication system, a source of beauty, grandeur, adventure, and because of the teeming forest which they inhabited.
Da ichiyamoka bamato piyasa kencawa marita bakuru puteda. Da uyuamoka bamato piyasa kencawa marita arwa putda tomata piken tomata pi tomata piken tomata pi tomata piken tomata pi tomata piken tomata pi. Tarusa usa tawa padeda kentaku wanda sumakuba trawa bukaha arwa putaha kentawa marita pakusawa budeda tomata piken tomata pi tomata piken tomata pi tomata piken tomata pi tomata piken tomata pi.
For you. It's perhaps fitting that one of Guyana's most popular dishes is called cook up. Everybody say that together, cook up. Cook up. There, you got it. And since Guyana can be considered a cook-up society, an amalgam of many races and cultures brought together by history to the land of many waters, today, thousands of years after their arrival, the descendants of 6 races walk together under Guyana's sun. Drums, cousin, drums.
I hear drums. Black drums beating black history. And my blood melting the soul waves. My spirit pluck wings of strange memories. And my whole being was way to Africa. Africa, the land of the drum god. The kingdom of drums. The haven of songs. Paradise of tongues of thunder. I hear the drums and I remember. I remember I was an apostle of the drum god. I would beat in the morning to call the sun. I beat in the evening for the rain come down. I beat for my God. I beat for my tribe. I beat for Africa. Drums! Can you hear the drums? Can you hear the drums? I, the tree, you cut me down, trim me leaves, me limbs, dig out me guts, me sap, and goat, me friend. You kill him too, dry his skin, and use his skin to cover me. Yes, I, tree, and goat, is company. Together we make song, sound of the drum, born in Africa, resurrected in the Caribbean, North America, South America. When you hear the song, it makes you want to move. Drums! Drums! Drums of Africa! Drums! Drums of India! Drums of Guyana, the masquerade drum. Drums! Comfort drums. Comfort music in the blood, like a crazy moving flood. Black brothers and sisters all in white, twisting and twirling in the flickering light. Half-naked drummers pouring sweat, pounding drums till out of breath, saxophone blowing sweet, jarring drums in wild, wild beat. Faster, faster the drums they pound, bodies like snakes on the ground. Rolling, roaring, round and round, caught in the fury of the song. The drums go soft, softer still. Spirits leave. Bruised bodies rise. Staring. Staring with vacant eyes. Thank you.
And there you have the drums. Our African culture still lingers in the use of certain Creole words we use and in the folk songs with a distinctly African flavor, and in the traditional masquerade bands with their boom, kettle, pipe, and stilt dancing. Give me a masquerade rhythm. about our daily lives, we may forget the cupolas of Hindu temples, the minarets of Muslim mosques, the steeples of Christian churches rising out of our architectural landscape, and all living monuments of our religious festivals like Eid al-Adha, Yom Nabi. Easter, Christmas, Smith's Church, Christmas, St. George's Cathedral, Brickdown Church. And then there is Pagwa and Diwali. We'll share with you a dance later that celebrates Diwali. But for now, whether in architecture, religion, language, folklore, festivals, they're going to catch up with me. Dress or food. It is upon this fusion of blood and culture and energies that the hope of our nation rests. Oh, beautiful Guyana. This is Guyana. Thank you. And now we'll have our dancers who will do a finale for us. You want me to sing you a Guyana song?
Yes.
Oh dear. All right. Let me see. We all want me to sing. Bamboo fire. All right. Give me some drums then. Bamboo fire. What kind of fire? Bamboo fire. Make so, make so. Bamboo fire. What kind of fire? Bamboo fire. Make so, make so. Bamboo fire. Make so, make so. Bamboo fire. Make so, make so.
6 o'clock I need food now.
Bamboo fire. Make so, make so.
Bamboo fire, it was kind of fire.
Bamboo fire. Make so, make so.
Bamboo
Fire. Make so, make so, make so. Well, I must congratulate you all. You did very, very well about your 5 minutes. Give yourselves a round of applause. And so to round out our cultural presentation today, I'd like to introduce Marissa Nadir. And Marissa will be dancing for us Mo Rando, which is Color Me Red. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have dance, we have culture, we have food, we have fashion. And now we have our one and only golden arrowhead. Now lesson 101. The flag of Guyana is called? Y'all did very well. All right, take it away.
From the game. Here we go. This is the voice of Shelly Jagan. You can hear the voice of Fort Burnham after him. And the voice of
all values are
President
important.
David Arthur
All
Granger.
values are important. And we cherish them.
Are you ready?
And we cherish them. And we cherish them.
Arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. Children, arrowhead. I love my golden arrowhead. When I see this flag waving, it's a sight that's so amazing. And I can feel the rhythm blazing. And I can hear the people them saying. When I smell the corn baking, and I can hear the shack shaking. Pop and bird by baking, notes clap and breakfast making. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. Come on. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead.
All values are important.
When I feel this step forward, and I can feel my spirit soaring, and I can hear the crowd roaring, in the way that God is here. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. Is the guy getting smoked up? You ready for this one? Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, holla. Here anti-best, here anti-best, here anti-best, holla. What she holla, what she holla, what she holla for? What she holla, what she holla, what she holla for? This is the land that's coffee fought for. Marching cards and cars are for you. Them down the pen and axes and the sword. Check out the pole and she keep it word. Want to run be a man of letter. He came hard to a little better. Make me hold it kangaroo. If they do it, you do it too. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. Arrowhead, no, I love my golden arrowhead. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. Here we go. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. From the land of many waters, from people of different cultures, Guyana, in Guyana,
All values are important.
Shine your light that they must sell you. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. From the land of many waters, from the people of different cultures, African, Indian, American, Chinese, coming together in harmony. One people, one nation, one destiny. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. Arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. So let's do it twice. Hey, arrowhead, I love my golden arrowhead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nadrika, and please take a seat. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Mike McCanna. He's the Managing Director for American Airlines here at JFK and Terminal 8, and he leads all of the team members at Terminal 8 with American Airlines. So we're going to address a few remarks, and then we do have a few guest speakers, and then we'll let you enjoy the rest of the party.
Thank you, David. Okay, so I don't sing, and I dance even worse. So I apologize for what you may find to be a very boring part of this program, but the good news is I'm going to be relatively quick. So first off, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out this afternoon. We're going to have some nasty weather here in the not too distant future, so for you to come out here in the midst of that, it really, really is appreciated. If there was any question about whether American Airlines is excited about flying this route, I think when you look around the room, any concern you may have had is now put to rest. We are really excited about doing this. We're still 2 months away from flying the first trip, and look at the turnout that we have here. So thanks for everyone for being here. We do have a few distinguished guests in the crowd here that I'd like to ask them to stand up as I recognize them. And I'll apologize in advance if I butcher any names. And I also should probably put my glasses on. Okay, first off, I would like to recognize the Honorary Barbara Atherley. Barbara is the Consul General for Guyana. Her office is located in Manhattan. We also have a New York State Senator here, Ms. Roxanne Persaud. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And I didn't meet him in advance. I'm not sure if he made it or not, but we do also have a Queens District leader, Mr. Richard David. Richard, did you make it? Okay. All right, so we'll be on the lookout for him. And then we also have Jane Barron over here to my right. Jane is representing the Guyanese Tourist Authority, so thanks for being here. And then in addition to that, on the American Airlines side, there is one person I'd like to recognize, Abina, who heads up our Caribbean Employee Business Resource Group. Abina, where are you? There she is over here. So Abina came in from Phoenix to join us, and so thanks for doing this. Thanks for helping out with it. A lot of good things going on here and across the company with the Caribbean Employee Resource Group, and so we're happy to have her join us. As I mentioned, we're really excited about flying this route, and we'll start on December 18th. We'll be flying once a day in the evening. We'll leave here at 5:40 in the evening and arrive in Guyana just after midnight, and then the airplane will turn right around and come back to New York and have our Guyanese customers back here roughly 6 a.m. So again, we're pretty excited about that. I'm from Kansas, so I can't say that growing up I knew an awful lot about Guyana. In fact, I didn't know a lot about New York City. And so when I've been in New York for a number of years now. I've been at Kennedy for 7 years, and I've had the blessing of working with a guy by the name of Narendra Saw. And Saw, as we call him, is at the back of the room. And Saw grew up in Guyana. And so I've sort of used, over the course of my years here, I've used Saw as kind of my Guyana Wikipedia. and I've learned a lot about the country over the course of time. And then Saw and I were talking a little bit more today. And to Saw an awful lot about over the course of time has been the game of cricket. And I still don't understand that, but Saw has promised me that he will take me to a cricket match at some point, and he'll explain the rules to me, because I'm totally confused. It's sort of like it has some baseball elements to it, but I don't really understand all of that. So he's going to take me to a game, probably not one of those that last 7 days, but he's promised to take me and explain how that works to me. So anyway, I'll wrap it up now. I just want to thank everyone again for being here. And again, I can't tell you how excited we are about flying this route. There's no doubt our employees are behind it. You see that when you walk through this room and some of the things that you just saw. A couple of special thanks go out here to Vanita. Vanita did a fantastic job. And then Chakesha back here at the back of the room also played a big role. And I know there were plenty of other people that were involved that, off the top of my head, there's probably many that I don't even know who they are that were involved. But thanks for everyone that was a part of this. The performers that were just here, you were fantastic. Fantastic job. And thanks for doing that for us. And so with that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to someone else who hopefully is not as boring as me, and we'll continue. So I think Barbara, yeah, definitely not as boring as me. Barbara's going to come up here and talk to us for a minute. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mike. Good afternoon, everyone. I was given a task to do this afternoon, but before I do that, I wish to thank Vanita and Abina for really involving the consulate in today's activities and all the activities that they're doing toward building up towards the launch of the inaugural flight in December 18th.
Thank
so
you
we're looking forward to that. I was asked to do a presentation on Guyana and a bit about the consulate, so I hope the PowerPoint is ready, and I will do that as quickly as possible. Okay, you see, during the course of our cultural presentation, we learned that Guyana, land of many waters, and the official name is the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. And Guyana gained its independence in 26th of May 1966, and became a republic. Thank you. And became a republic on the 23rd of February 1970. So you know that next year, 2020, Guyana will be celebrating 50 years as a Republican status. In this presentation this afternoon, I will give you a glimpse of Guyana, focusing on its geography, demographics, its economy, and then I will touch on the role of the consulate in New York. In terms of the geography of Guyana, Guyana is a tropical country situated on the northern shoulder of South America. The area of Guyana is 215,000 kilometers, or 83,000 square miles. Although Guyana is in South America, it is considered part of the Caribbean based on our historic development by the Europeans and who were our colonizers back in the 1800s right through to 1938, right through to independence. Guyana is bordered to the south and southwest by Brazil, to the east by Suriname, to the west by Venezuela, and we have the coastal line along the northern Atlantic Ocean. Guyana is divided into 10 administrative regions, 5 of which are along the coastal line, and the other 5 are considered the hinterland and rural interior locations where you will find most of our indigenous population. Guyana, land of many waters, encompasses 4 major rivers. The mighty Essequibo, in which you can find 365 islands, the Demerara River, the Berbice River, and very far right to the east, the Corentyne River. There are also many numerous rivers and tributaries in the riverine areas and out in the hinterland regions. When we look at the demographics of Guyana, Guyana boasts a population, and I say boasts a population of just 740,000 people. We have not hit the million mark yet, but I'm sure we will someday. Guyana has a very large youth population, with over half of the population being under the age of 30 years. 26.5% are under 15 years, and 30% is within the 15 to 30 age group. Guyana is known as the land of six peoples. There we have them, the native Amerindians, comprising about 10.5% of the population. Then we have a small group of Europeans who were part of our colonizers, comprising of some Dutch, French, and British. Then we have Africans, which are 30%, and they're the descendants of African slaves who were brought to Guyana as slaves to work on the sugar plantation. The East Indian group comprise 39%, and they are descendants from India and were brought here as indentured servants when slavery was abolished in 1838. Chinese and other whites and Portuguese make up the 0.5% of the population. Another fast-growing group is the mixed group, comprising of 19.9% of the Guyanese population. And so when you hear they talk about Douglas, that's a mixed group that they're talking, which are persons from Indian, African, mixed Chinese, all the groups mixed. We had a glimpse earlier of the Guyana's religion, but just to say that Guyana is a multicultural, multi-religious society. The Constitution of Guyana allows for freedom of religious worship. And so we have the main religious grouping, Christians being about 60%, the Hindus about 28%, Muslims just over 7%, and there's two smaller groups coming up, the Rastafarians and the Baha'i group. So these are the groups that are recognized. Within the Christian community, there are many denominations, which include Protestants, Episcopalians, and as well as Catholics. I think it's important that we point out that the early inhabitants of Guyana were the Amerindians. And they were there before the Europeans came and settled and colonized Guyana. They were the group who was responsible for naming Guyana. And at that time, it was spelled G-U-I-A-N-A, meaning land of many waters. And presently, Guyana reflects not just the current Amerindian group, but also the past British, Dutch, and colonial rule that we had. Guyana is the only English-speaking country in South America, and many Guyanese speak what we call a Guyanese Creole. And I don't know if Mike spoke with Shaw, you said?
Saw.
Saw? Did Saw speak to you in Guyanese? I have to meet him. You should have introduced him to the Guyanese language. I don't think he would understand. Okay, so we move on now to the economy. And just a glimpse of the economy, Guyana is one of the fastest growing economy in the world today. Guyana economy exhibits modern economic growth in recent years and is based largely on the agricultural and extractive industries. In 2018, the gross domestic product growth was 3.4%, and the GDP, the annual GDP, was $3,610 million, and a capital income with a per capita income of $4,635. It should be noted that Guyana's economy is estimated to grow in 2020 to 33.5%, and in 2021 to 22.9%. And this is mainly due to the recent oil finds that we have found, where we have approximately 16 major oil deposits. We have about 8 companies at the moment in Guyana working on the oil that was found, and they're supposed to start production in 2020. And that accounts for the projected growth in the economy. The 60% of Guyana's gross domestic product depends on 6 exports: sugar, gold, bauxite, shrimp, timber, and rice. The economy depends on these two main sources. One is our natural resources, the bauxite, gold, diamond, and lumber, and the other from the soil, mainly agriculture. That's where we get our sugar, rice, and other products. From the riverine area and from the sea, we do get lots of, not just shrimp, but fish as well, and a lot is exported as well, especially here to New York. Cognizant of the wealth of resources, the government of Guyana has embarked on the development of the green state economy. This green state economy, there is a strategy that is drafted, and it's a very thorough document looking at the strategic actions, policies, projects, and programs to guide our sustainable development path for the next 20 years. This strategic framework is considered to be much more in-depth compared to other strategies that were developed in Guyana. The strategy incorporates a more holistic view of the social, economic, and environment well-being, and that will help the nation to develop based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Moreover, this strategy aims to propel economic growth with characteristics of low carbon emissions, effective use of natural resources, decent jobs, and social cohesion that would benefit all Guyanese. In promoting the green economy, Guyana is focusing now on investment opportunities, and you see there the investment opportunities can be found in the agriculture sector, in tourism. We were just talking, Mike just mentioned about the Kaitro waterfalls, which has a sheer drop of 741 feet, and it's higher than the Niagara Falls. How many times you said, Mike? 4 times, correct. 5 times? It grew, okay. But that area, the Kaitro Park area, is one of the areas that the government is looking forward to having some great investments, and that's why we have that great team across there from the tourism sector. And they will be telling you more about tourism. We also have other services and manufacturing, as well as mining. When we also look at promoting a green economy, Guyana is also looking at alternative sources of energy. And we all know that we have large rivers with many waterfalls in Guyana and cataracts as well, which are potential for hydropower in Guyana. And therefore, this is another area that we are looking at for further investment. We also have sunlight all year round, at least 12 hours a day. So there's no reason why we should not have solar energy in Guyana in a big way. And Guyana is embarking on this route as well, and therefore another area for potential investment. And the other area, wind, of course, Guyana, we said we are along the Atlantic Ocean, so therefore the northeast trade winds can be harnessed in order to have wind-powered electricity. And then we have, of course, our oil and gas. I move on now from the economy to tell you a bit of why we are here in New York, and to say that the Guyana Consulate is guided by and operates based on the international conventions such as the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. This convention outlines specific functions of the Consulate General and honorary consulates. Having ratified these international conventions, Guyana is accorded rights, but is also required to comply with the various diplomatic guidelines enshrined in those conventions. The mission of the Guyana Consulate is to contribute to the economic and social development of Guyana by promoting its trade and investment potential and serving the needs of the Guyanese in the diaspora through the provision of courteous and efficient service. The Consulate of Guyana provides services on behalf of government agencies back in Guyana. So we work for and on behalf of various agencies, such as the Guyana Police Force, through the Commissioner of Police, the General Register's Office, the Ministry of Citizenship, Deeds and Registry, and you have them there. What do we do on their behalf? Many of you have been utilizing our services, but it's mainly we do passports and emergency travel documents on behalf of the Immigration Office, visas on behalf of Ministry of Citizenship, the births, deaths, and marriage certificate, and we also do overseas registration for Guyanese who are born here. Good, and it's important that Guyanese who are here, they know they can have dual citizenship. So if your children are born here, you're free to ensure that they are registered as Guyanese and they can have a Guyanese passport as well. Then we have, we do a lot of work for the senior citizens in terms of their NIS benefits that they're entitled to in Guyana. And we make sure that their life certificates are also signed so that they can have proof that they're still alive and living here. The consulate engages in many diaspora engagement services. For instance, we have the home visits. This is something that we introduced a couple years ago, and this is where we try to visit Guyanese who are shut-ins in hospitals or at home, so that they can have their NIS or documents notarized by the consulate. Because if they're to receive their benefits in Guyana, they always want the consulate to have their stamp on the document. So we try to meet them where they are, and So we do home visits. We also do outreach programs where we take our services beyond the walls of the consulate to different areas such as Queens, Brooklyn, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Schenectady. This Saturday we will be going to Schenectady. We have an outreach program there, and I can tell you this is our third visit to Schenectady because of the large population of Guyanese in that area. We've also introduced Consulate Saturday, and this is to cater for persons who cannot come to the consulate during the working week, and we open the third Saturday in every quarter to cater for such persons. We also host town hall meetings, we celebrate national events, and I always like to bring in my senior citizens. We recognize those persons who would have attained the ripe young age of 100, where we ensure that we give them a citation on behalf of the government and people of Guyana. And to wrap up, I'd like to say some other recent initiatives that we have embarked on. We have set up a customer relations management system, which has a database for all transactions now in the office. And we've recently introduced a system whereby persons can check the status of their various applications. Just using their receipt number, it will tell you the status of your application. We also encourage Guyanese through our website to register their business or their association, their NGO, non-for-profit, whatever. You can register on our website as well. We have our newsletter, and more recently, we have set up our Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit our Facebook page, like our page. So ladies and gentlemen, that's a little glimpse of Guyana, as well as what we are doing here. Once again, I'd like to thank the organizers for encouraging, including the consulate in this activity, and to say that this is why we are here to support anything Guyanese for our Guyanese brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. And now we have a presentation by GTA, the Wilderness Explorers.
So great. So we get to take y'all on the fun places. Forget all those business things. Sorry, American Airlines. What I want to, I'm Jane Barrand. I am thrilled to represent the Guyanese Tourism Board, the Guyana Tourism Authority here in the States. I brought special guests in from Georgetown who take people to visit this wondrous land every day. So I want to introduce to you Andrea and Salvador DeCaries, and I just said, how do you pronounce it? And with Wilderness Explorers, and they're going to show you what an amazing country. How many of you guys have been to Guyana? How many of you are from Guyana? How many ever leave Georgetown when you go? And that's well done. And we want to get y'all further out, exploring more things in Georgetown, out into the Rupununi, out into the Essequibo, and they're going to tell y'all all about this wonderful country.
Well, this has been a pretty spectacular party. So thank you all for coming, and thank you for bringing a little bit of home to New York. We've talked about what Guyana means to Guyanese. Now let's talk about what Guyana means to your guests. Those who are taking American Airlines from JFK.
Or from Miami.
Or from Miami. And what they have in mind and the tours that they're on, because they may ask you questions. And it's important for you to know. And those of you who have not left Georgetown, then perhaps this will be a little bit of a sneak preview for you. If you could. Okay. So for people who do not know where Guyana is, though most of you do, we affectionately say it sits on the shoulder of South America.
we have the gentleman who was going to help us with the slides? Is he here?
We do have somebody else there.
Okay, thank you. Salvador.
Guyana, of course, is part of the Guyana Shield, which is one of the oldest land masses in the world. It was formed when this was joined to Africa, and it was all one landmass called Gondwana. So it's over 600 million years old, just to give you an idea. And it starts from Colombia and comes all the way over to Brazil. Originally, there were 5 Guyanas. There was Portuguese Guyana, French, Dutch, British, and Spanish Guyana. Spanish Guyana became part of Venezuela. Portuguese Guyana became part of Brazil.
Next slide, please. So we can really sort of skip this because I think we've covered it quite a few times, but what's important for you to know is that 85% of the country is still pristine. 95% of the population lives on the coast. So once you get in the plane and you leave the small airport and you head into the interior, you will not see very many people. It's also important for you just to keep in perspective the size of Guyana compared to the United States. So the size of Guyana is about the tri-state area, okay? But how many people do you have in New York City? So we have 740,000 in the entire country.
740,000 people who live here.
Right. We've already talked about the people of Guyana. It's very interesting. You know, Salvador and I met with some folks before we came to meet with you guys, and they said, "What does a Guyanese look like?" And we just burst out laughing.
I'm Guyanese.
I'm Guyanese.
She's Guyanese.
I'm
We're all
Guyanese.
Yeah.
So there is no "what does a Guyanese look like?" Next, please. This is going to be a
slide.
A video. Yeah. And down at the bottom, I.
You gotta calm down.
Yep.
There it is.
Thank you. So this is giving you an idea of Georgetown a little bit. I hope. Maybe. Just not. Well, maybe we'll just keep on going and try and do the videos later then.
All the drinks that finished, and they had some saved, but somebody took